And happy Tuesday evening, race fans. Welcome here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Tonight, a special event. We're bringing you the GUNR4sR here at Miami Homestead. My name is Chris, and with me always in the booth, my good friend Rick. Rick, how are you tonight, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here with you once again in Homestead, Miami, man.
Yeah, this is going to be a good time. This is race number 5 for their season. It's the Dixie Vodka 175, again, right here at Homestead Miami Speedway. And these guys have had 4 other races, as I mentioned. They started off with Daytona. Looks like the winner there, Bobby Madden III. They went to Las Vegas. Chris Gilbert won that one. Auto Club Speedway, won by Jordan Tensel. And the last time these cars were on track was back on March 10th. Ted Rickick won that one, but tonight a different story. It is Homestead Miami, and we are getting ready to go to action here. 3 minutes 37 seconds left of practice. And Rick, because we don't do these guys week in and week out, we are not entirely sure what we're going to see here tonight.
Well, Chris, I mean, we were lucky. We've actually got to broadcast these fine folks, these awesome drivers at one point in our broadcasting career. And if I remember correctly, that race went pretty clean. It was some really good racing, and keeping my eye on practice here. Now, I've been here since about 7 o'clock or maybe just a little bit after, and I've been watching, man, practice looking good. These guys looking like they're going to have a lot of fun out here tonight.
Yeah, I think you're right, Rick. And we've got about 24 drivers in the server getting ready to go here for Miami. I want to thank you guys for coming on out, tuning in to the Turn 3 Racing Network. We appreciate it. We do watch that chat. So if you got something to say, make sure to let us know, even if it's just a hello. And we'd be willing to call you out and say hello, just like Lance did. Thank you very much for that, Lance. And thank you for coming out to the Turn 3 Racing Network here tonight. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left to practice. And really, it's been a very good-looking practice. Not a lot of spinning. Car seems to be handling pretty decently here tonight, and some really nice-looking cars. Rick, I'm actually looking at one right now. It's the 10 of Brad Lane.
Oh, man, I love that Exalta number 10, man. I mean, it looks, and there's a lot of nice paint schemes out here, Chris. He's actually going around the 67 right now. That's 67, man. I like that red color. It looks good. It's making me thirsty, but that Exalta paint looking really good tonight.
Such a sucker for the sponsors on the cars.
You know how I go.
Yes, sir. All right, here, about 2 minutes left to practice. Then we're going to hop into qualifying and see what these 24 drivers can do here at this speedway. Rick, it's a big track. It's 1.5 miles, and I know you kind of like this track a little bit.
Yeah, you know, it drives kind of... I like the way that it drives, Chris. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain unless you're actually out there doing it, but, you know, the turns and everything, it's a lot of fun here. And one thing I've been watching, too, and these guys are handling it very well, but that track temperature, 103 degrees, man, right now under practice. So it's nice and warm here in Miami. I know we got some snow up here in Vermont, so we're waiting for that to go away. But, man, I'm excited. The fans are already showing up in chat, man. I love it. I do. Got some Boyer fans out there. We got the Walters fans.
Yeah, pretty cool. Good to see you guys out there tonight. Aerial coverage for tonight's race going to be provided by Red Button Box. And make sure you guys check them out. Can't thank them enough for what they're doing, helping us out here tonight and getting these guys some exposure, much needed exposure. You know, you can race out there for a long time, but every once in a while it's good to see your car from somebody else's perspective. That's what we hope to do for you guys here tonight. So again, thank you to Red Button Box, and thank you for Gunners for having us on out here. Put the camera on 7. You got it. That is fine. And that's Brian Boyer Jr. Yeah, he's running that classic Budweiser car.
Yeah, you gotta love that, man.
DEI. Yeah, that's awesome.
Makes me kind of wish that we were, you know, I know it was the baseball Budweiser, but kind of the same premises there, but, you know, cool for in Daytona.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, Rick. Only 9 seconds left to practice. These guys getting ready to qualify, and I got to be honest with you, this whole practice run, I've heard some real nice respect out of drivers, maybe getting a little contact in. I hear I'm sorry, and working on it from there. So pretty cool. Even the dog is excited out back. He's ready to go. and get this thing going, and getting it going we are, because here comes qualifying. As we bring up the qualifying graphic, just waiting for the first driver to head out on track. It looks like it's going to be Jordan Tencel and the number 63. I am going to be honest with you guys, not entirely sure how to pronounce some of these names, so if I get them wrong, I am sorry. This is going to be race number 1 of a 6-race deal that we've got here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And it's going to be a lot of fun to have them out. I can't wait, because I'll tell you, these guys are really fun. Now, they have the A car, which is what we're watching here tonight. They have the B car, which runs on Thursdays. We're going to be running different nights for these guys, and hope to see some really good racing out of them. I know we will, actually. I'm certain of it.
You know, Kristen, one thing that I'm excited about, I mean, you and I, we've been lucky because we broadcast super late models and late models. We broadcast K&N cars and trucks, but you know, we haven't really had much with the Xfinity and especially these A cars, man. And I'm really loving seeing these things out on track.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Tencel out there in his number 63, trying to see what he can do. And again, it's a big track, but let's see what kind of time he starts getting ready to throw down here.
Now he's in the gray ghost, so he's going to be doing good.
A 31.874 for the 63. The 77 bumped down to third by Ray. That's Marty Ray, and that number 12. We'll switch on over to Eddie Morin. Morin in that 56 number. That's a paint job. I'm trying to figure out what that
cool.
is. Well, nonetheless, Morin sitting 4th quickest so far. Chris Gilbert on track, number 35. Rick, we were looking at this car earlier.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've been looking at all the cars, but this one, not because of the sponsor or anything like that, but those colors, man, those are my colors. You know, I've raced those colors pretty much since I started iRacing, man. And it just brings me back, makes me think of the MS Society. One of my favorites out there. It's hard to pick, let me tell you, because there are a lot of really nice paint schemes out there on track tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of good stuff going on in chat already. We appreciate that, guys. Switch on over to Brandon Cutting in that 97. That's a U.S. Coast Guard machine. Chevy Camaro. And by and large, this field made up of a lot of Camaros. 1 Mustang. 2 Mustangs that I can... Oh, no, 3. 4. Okay, there's some Mustangs out there, Rick. Gotta have the Mustangs. Howard Wendell in the 12. I'm not going to let you say anything.
I know. You know, Chris, one thing I love about this chat already, man, none out there. He's already giving us nicknames of the drivers. If there's more, give them to us. But now, the Pizza Man, that's going to be his name tonight.
That's Alan Piazza on the 61, not on track yet, but the 12, Howard Wendell, is. So far, Tencel's 31.874 holding steady on the speed charts, Rick.
Well, you know, I told you, he's running the Gray Ghost, scheme, man. So, I mean, there's a lot of old DEI and Dale Jr. paint schemes out there, but man, there's just something about the Gray Ghost that just, everybody likes it. And it's always fast.
Looking on to the number 10 Exalta car of Brad Lane. He's first lap. Good enough for second spot. These guys look like they're running maybe 1 hot lap. They're going to cut it off here. Bruce Boyer out there in the number 24. Let's see what he can do around this big track. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming on out to the Turn 3 Racing Network. We're going to be seeing 117 laps here tonight in stage racing format. The only stage is lap 47. Randy Collins, that black crown number 27. Still feeling thirsty, Rick?
Oh yeah. You put that with the Code Red Mountain Dew, man, I'm gonna be happy.
And he shuts it down, hits the brakes. He did not want to finish that lap. Interesting. And the rest fill in. We are getting ready to grid, Rick. Here we go, getting ready for the grid, and on the pole tonight, the driver of the number 63, that's Jordan Tencel. To his outside, driver of the number 10, it's Brad Lane. Starting on the inside of row number 2, it's going to be the 24 of Bruce Boyer. Nick Snyder in the 42, starting to his outside. Row number 3. On the inside, in the number 12, it's going to be Howard Windell. To his outside, it's Brandon Cunning. Starting on the inside of row number 4, driving the number 65, it's Marty Ray. To his outside in the number 35, Rick, it's going to be Chris Gilbert. Starting to the inside of row number 5, that's Ted Reckick. And to his outside, Michael Leo Jr. in the 77. Rick, row number 6 is going to be comprised of the inside lane, number 56, Eddie Morin. And to his outside, the driver of the number 7, that's Brian Boyer Jr. Rick, hello? And Rick's gone. I don't know what he's doing. Row number 7, inside, gonna be the driver of the number 25, it's Seth Gary. And to his outside, Russell Farrell in the number 8. Starting inside row number 8, gonna be Steven Maddox. And to his outside, Eric Shearer. The driver of the number 74, Adam Montioca. Starting on the inside, row number 9. On his outside, it's going to be Donald Johnson in the 67. To the inside of row 10, it's going to be Brian Boyer in the 88. Randy Collins in the 27 to his outside. Billy Walters going to be starting inside row number 11. Reggie Packard on his outside. Inside row 12, going to be Michael Wilcox, and Alan Piazza going to be starting on his outside in the 61 and pulling shotgun on the field. That's going to be the field for tonight. It's going to be a good field. Been looking forward to this all day long. Jordan Tencel is the man up front getting ready to get this race going. Guys, if you haven't watched a broadcast here on the Turn 3 Racing Network before, we want to thank you and welcome you to the family. Make sure to hit that subscribe and hit the thumbs up. And here we go under the green flag. Heading into turn number 1 for the very first time tonight. The 24 gets a little loose, may have had some very slight contact or aero push from the 10, then goes down to the below the white line. Oh, we got a crash going on already. The 24, I believe, may have started that one. Bruce Boyer takes the tow. We're going to go back and see what happened. The 24 working the inside. Goes down under that white line. That jumbles everybody up. And then behind him, oh, it's a mess. Big time mess. We're going to go back and look at it one more time from a slightly different angle. We're on board the 77, Michael Arrow Jr. Trying to catch this one. And you see it happening right in front of him. He goes down low, tries to avoid it, and T-bones the 24, and then makes a little contact with the wall. So caution number 1 on the evening is out. Jordan Tensel holding on to the race lead, and the field doing what it can to get itself repaired and get back out on track. May have lost Rick here. Find out in just a moment. Rick, you're back.
I am.
You missed the first caution, bud.
I'm just wondering if anybody wants a cat.
Well, under the very first caution of the evening, and Jordan Tensel is still going to be your race leader. Brad Lane second, Nick Snyder in that 42 car running third, Marty Ray in fourth, and then you start seeing a little bit of damage. Eddie Morin in the 56 has got some on the left side and the rear bumper, right rear for that matter. Rusty Farrell, he was able to make it through, it looks like, cleanly. Steven Maddox clean in that number 23 STP car. Eric Shearer has made it through. Ooh, the 27, hard hit. That left rear and the whole front nose clip is gone on that car. Billy Walters trying to catch the back of the field, and that number 20, a little bit of damage. That shouldn't affect that car too much to the rear. The 88 Pizza Putt Machine, or Pizza Little Caesars, not Pizza Putt.
Pizza.
So cars are getting ready to fold up 2x2. We're getting ready to go back under the green flag. We're going to take a cockpit view from the race leader Jordan Tensel as we cruise around this big 1.5 mile track. I think they were just pushing a little too hard there to start this one off. Rick got a little excited at 24, really jumbled him up a little bit. He went down below that white line, got on the apron, was able to get back out on track, but it was a little too late as the guys behind him were anticipating the worst, and they got it.
Well, you know how I talked about the track temperature during practice and everything and qualifying being, like 102, 103?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you noticed how warm it is now? 126 degrees? Is that right or wrong?
Yeah, no, I see that, and that's definitely going to affect how these cars are driving. Pace car has come in. We are ready to go back under the green flag, waiting for it. There it is. Green is out. The 42 pushing hard. Nick Snyder in the 42 was all over Jordan Tensel on that restart. And the 42 is going to try and make it pay off on the inside. Gets around the 10 for second spot. Nick Snyder on the move. He stays to the back bumper of the race leader. Goes in front of Brad Lane. Lane now stuck in third spot with the 65. Excuse me, Marty Ray running in fourth spot. Brad Lane back to third. We're under caution again. And not sure what caused that.
Might have been the 97, maybe?
We'll take a look. 97. We're going to go back and find out.
Or was he just coming off pit road, maybe?
Yeah, I think 97 was coming off from pit road. I think it was towards the rear of the pack. We're going to look there.
Yeah, I saw the 24.
The 23. The 23.
And the 20. Yep.
Steven Maddox. Let's take a peek and see what happened with him. He was running the inside. Oh, gets a big wiggle coming off the corner and just goes around. He tried to save it, Rick, but he had a car right behind him. No contact there, but with that car behind him, I think it took the air off from the spoiler and around he went. No contact for the 23. That's the good news. Bad news is we're under caution number 2 already on the evening, lap number 7 of 117. So a little early race jitters going on and getting worked out here. Jordan Tensel, he's okay with that right now. He's the race leader and has been since the drop of the first green flag. But I'm sure these guys are itching for a nice long green flag run. They just haven't had an opportunity yet.
When that caution came out, it was kind of strange because, I mean, I know that happened up closer towards the front of the field, Chris, but you noticed that a couple of guys in the back there, you thought it might have started there. The 20 of Walters having a little issue on that restart there. He was able to get it going, but cars had to move around.
The track is so hot.
Yeah, I think we're getting some wheel spin.
Yeah, we saw some wheel spin. I believe it was out of the 10 car on the last restart, the second place starter, Brad Lane, which actually ended up making him fall back into third. It is warm out there, Rick. But here we are in Miami. And it is a 1.48 mile track, 4 turns, 4 feet over sea level. Tonight's race is going to be 173 miles, track temperature 127 miles an hour, a wind speed of 2 miles an hour out of the north, and that's not going to help anything. The sun is shining here in Miami today.
I mean, it's definitely a beautiful day for a race, but man, that track temperature, hot, up to, 127 now. Oh. But hey, that's what happens in Southern Florida. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. So under caution once again, yellow is on the field. The Ford Mustang leading the way. And then you got a Camaro actually leading the race.
Oh, yeah.
Well, again, I want to thank everybody for coming on out to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Glad to be out here tonight. Really a pleasure for us to be here and be calling this race. Rick, you got nothing better to do on a Tuesday night, right? You're just expecting baby number 3.
Baby number 3 and last, but yes. And no, I mean, this is my happy place right now. And I don't get to talk to you every day right now at work, so.
Yeah, true enough.
Oh, wait, Chris, there's a Ford Mustang leading the pack right now, and its lights are off, so that means we're going to be going green.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait for that. Got to get some green flag laps in here, guys. I want to start calling the action. Jordan Tensel moves up just a little bit. The rest of the field rejoins him. 2 by 2, getting ready to go. That is a good looking car, Rick. That 63, man, I dig it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones too.
Yeah, pace car is off. We're getting set to go to the green flag. Watch for that wheel spin. Nothing in the top 3 rows as we go back under the green flag one more time here tonight. As they sail into turn number 1, it's Cancel and Snyder on the front row. They're running side by side. The 10 of Brad Lane looking to the high side. A little bit of a gap back to 4th spot.
Snyder's looking good there in that Credit 142 machine. Of course, that's my driver's paint scheme right there. And no, I'm not talking about Kyle Larson, guys. I'm talking about Nick Snyder. And ooh, look at this move.
Both front runners move down the field. The 42 stays on that rear bumper. Brad Lane was stuck out there on his own for just a moment. Decides to fall back in. Here comes the 42 taking a peek to the inside. Nope. Knows he can't get there yet. Falls back in line. A little bit of a draft here, Rick, but not a huge pull. Not like Daytona or Talladega.
Now this track runs obviously a little bit different than that, but man, these guys doing a good job. Here comes the 42 now, peeking on that inside. Chris trying to really catch up to that front. Is he going to be able to do it as they come out of the corner here? No, not yet.
It's going to take a really good run. The track's going to have to rubber in a little bit before that inside lane becomes a little bit better than it is now. And these guys are doing the thing that they need to do. Actually, they're running that bottom line in the corners. That will help later on in the race as that portion of the track rubbers in. But Jordan Tensel leading the way. Ricky's led all 12 laps so far, working lap number 13. Top three, Tensel, Snyder, Lane, running in fourth spot. Right now it's the 12, but he is under attack from Rusty Farrell in the 8. The 8 to the inside, looking to try and get it done. Can the 8 do it? The 42 hasn't been able to so far. The 8 pulls door to door, and now to the inside, pulls forward, taking over. Fourth spot is Rusty Farrell. Marty Ray lets him go by.
That was an outstanding. I don't think he let him go by, but man, that 8 car is fast right now, Chris. That was a beautiful pass. Now he's got his eyes on the 10 of Lane.
And we're going to move back just a little bit more because you have the 22 of Eric Shearer. He's down on the inside of Reggie Packard. This is for position number 7. And these two have been swapping back and forth here for a couple of laps. The 56 is Eddie Morin. Morin doing a great job in 6th spot. Shearer trying to take it over. Oh, the 12 gets into the back of the 22. The 23 into the 22, and the 22 into the wall and back down. Oh, takes a late shot. Oh, man. All right, we're going to go take a look at that one. We were fortunate enough to be right there when it started to happen. And basically you see the 12 just gets a good run slightly inside, just wasn't down enough. The 22 gets nailed by the 23 and into the wall. And then this, a late hit into the 22, brings out caution number 3 for the evening. Your race leader, Jordan Tensel. And Rick, one thing we haven't done yet, let's take a look at the point standings. I've told you guys, these guys have run a few races here so far, 4 of them to be exact. And here are the point standings as of tonight. Jordan Tensel, who is leading this race, is also leading the point standings. Nick Snyder, Ted Reigick, Adam Monteoka, and Chris Gilbert, your top 5. So these guys have been going, and it's evidenced here in their point standings. And Jordan Tensel just looking to hold on. He's got a 4-point lead over Nick Snyder right now. And Snyder is the driver of number 42 right behind him. And some of this is going to change, Rick, because for the first time tonight, we got some guys coming down pit road.
I'm sure they definitely want to try to get their cars fixed up, any little dents and stuff like that. Maybe get some Dr. Feelgood, some racing fuel. Maybe get a drink.
Of course, with all the things going on with the coronavirus right now, Rick, this is the best entertainment that money can buy. It's a free shot. All you have to do is come on out to YouTube just about every night here on the Turn 3 Racing Network for all of your motorsports action. Make sure you tune in with us. Just about every single night we've got something going on. We've got a new announcer on board who's just starting off.
Yeah, Big Al.
Big Al getting ready to go. See when he wants to decide to go solo. Right now, an excellent co-chair. So Reggie Packard in the 29 decided to stay out to lead a lap. Now he's going to come down pit road. That's going to give the lead back over to the 63 of Jordan Tensel. And Tensel has been strong here tonight, Rick. He's led 15 laps.
I mean, I called it as soon as he went out there. I mean, that paint scheme, Chris, it is fast. But, man, the 42, he was working them hard on the inside and the outside, just trying to find a way around. And I think we're going to see Schneider make a couple moves here. I really do.
24 drivers starting tonight's event. 4 drivers have decided to call it a night. Ed Reichick, Michael Leo Jr., Bruce Boyer, and Seth Geary.
I gotta tell you, Chris, iRacing's done a great job with their graphics, man. I got the heat waves on. Looking a little hazy out there on the outside of the track. We know that the track temperature is warm, still 126 degrees, that air temperature holding steady at 90.
Caution number 3 for 8 laps. Drivers that were in the last wreck. We had Eric Shear, and he was in the 22, and I believe the 23 got a piece of that one. And then there was a driver that was towards the end of that one that came in, and I could not catch the number of that one. Here we go again, lining up 2 by 2. Pace car lights are off, Rick, so we're getting ready to go back under the green flag. This 1.5-mile track is definitely more than competitive just on its own. These cars very, very loose, and it is showing here tonight.
I mean, that's, you know, the track temperature really coming into play here, Chris. Those tires, I mean, they warm up quick and they get slick. It doesn't matter if you got fresh rubber or old rubber on there. I mean, these cars slipping and sliding, but these guys doing a good job.
Well, this track is kind of known to eat the rubber anyways. You add
Yes,
that heat, and boy, it doubly so. I think the only car out there that's going to finish with the original set of tires, Rick, is going to be the pace car tonight. As we are getting ready to go back under the green flag. Drivers entering turns 3 and 4 right now. And Jordan Tensel going to be taking the green flag once again. Pace car is off the track, getting ready to go back to the green flag. Loud buttons get pressed, and here we go again. Nick Snyder on the outside. A great restart for him, but Tensel fighting back on the inside. They go just about door to door going into turn 1 and 2. Tensel taking advantage. Brad Lane moves up to take that 3rd spot away. The top 2 drivers still battling it out for position. Now the 42 sneaks down and falls in line behind Tensel. And boy, did he stay down, Rick, as now he's down on the inside as they cross the start-finish line heading into turn 1. The 42 is looking to try and take that spot away. He's been trying for this entire race and just hasn't been able to quite get there. And again, Tensel fights him off.
Well, that 63 car, I mean, no matter where he puts it, Chris, it's just running, you know, top notch right now. I mean, there's no problems whatsoever, and he's just able to hold off the 42. He's doing a heck of a job. 42's got to kind of watch out, though, because if he makes that move and the 10 gets sucked up there, that's going to take that spot away.
Well, Rick, for all those viewers that are first-time viewers with you and I up here in the booth, I want to tell you to get yourselves ready. If you're watching on a phone, make sure to put it on 10. If you're watching on a real TV, put that baby up to 100. Whatever you got, make sure you turn it up. And that'll get your heart beating just a little bit quicker here on a Tuesday night, Rick. Nick Snyder in the 42, working that inside lane, trying to take it over once again from Tensel. These two have been battling it out since the drop of the green flag, and the 42 still not able to find a way around.
No, that's what's getting. I mean, I'm used to the turn of that man, and I do love it, but watching Snyder take on Tensel, man, it's been crazy. And eventually he's going to do it, I think. Maybe. I don't know. That paint scheme with the Gray Ghost, man. He's fast.
Brad Lane and Rusty Farrell, the 10 and the 8, running third and fourth, and they are starting to catch the front two runners. So they got to be careful, Rick, about how much they're racing each other. And they're going to bring a couple more cars right into it. Look at the run the 10 has going into the corner. Man, he rolled that thing into the corner, and he made up about half the distance to the back bumper of Nick Snyder in the 42.
I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. If the top two keep battling it out the way that they've been, it's going to let the other two get caught up. But if they start racing there, then the two in the front are just going to pull away. But man, that 10, he's looking pretty good right now, too. He's got his eyes on the prize right now, let me tell you.
Fifth spot belongs to this car right here. Marty Ray driving the 65 on the scoring, 12 out on track. And he is running in the fifth spot. Behind him, it's going to be Michael Wilcox in the 86. He's running in sixth spot. Brian Boyer in the 88, running in seventh spot right now. In eighth position, in that number 23 with some front end damage, Stephen Maddox. And Reggie Packard running the 29 in ninth spot. Billy Walters rounding out the top 10. And just as I say that, Eddie Morin sails it in, and he hits the wall. Morin trying to hold on now. Eddie Morin just sailed it in a little too hard, comes off the wall, able to keep it going, but not before Chris Gilbert in the 35 goes around him for 11th spot, puts Morin back into 12th. In 13th spot, the 27 of Randy Collins. 14th spot belongs to this driver right here. It's going to be Howard Wendell and Brian Boyer Jr. in the 7, rounding out the top 15. Check out back up front because it's going again. The 42 looking hard, trying to find a way around. But Jordan Tensel holding on to that line so well, Rick, lap after lap. It's really affecting how the 42 is trying to pass him because he just doesn't have a good way to get around at this point.
No, and that's what it's coming down to. I mean, you know, we're still trying to get some rubber down on the racetrack there, Chris. And like you said, I mean, the 63 just hanging on to that line, and that's really the preferred line right now, especially this early in the race. I mean, I know we're on, lap number, 33, 117?
32. Yep.
32.
That's important to remember. Remember, we have one stage lap finish, and it is on lap number 47. That's around the corner here. And so far, Jordan Tensel has led the way this entire way, except for under caution. Excuse me, Snyder was able to lead one time going across the start-finish line, so Snyder does have a lap led, along with Packard.
And now it really looks like the drivers have got it figured out, Chris. They settled down. They're in their groove right now. And now it's all about that stage point. You got to get those points. But man, I don't know if anybody can get around that 63.
He is definitely proving to be tough here tonight. And Nick Snyder, no slouch himself, he's been riding that second spot, trying to find a way. And, it's not too late yet. They're in the middle of a pretty long green flag run this time by. Last time on pit road about 17 laps ago. So they're starting to feel the tires go away a little bit. Whoever's been able to manage those tires a little bit better is definitely going to have an advantage here in the top 4. But I suspect, Rick, that the winner of the first stage going to come out of this top 4, maybe even just the top 3.
I wouldn't really count out Farrell yet, Chris. He's been hanging out there. I mean, I think he's playing it a little smart, trying to save his equipment just a little bit, but he's staying right pretty close to the number 10 there. Brad Lane doing a good job. I mean, these guys have been together for quite a while now. They're just waiting for somebody to make a mistake to capitalize on that move.
Again, aerial coverage for tonight's race provided by Red Button Box. Make sure to go ahead and support them. Rick put the link up for their Facebook page in chat. Be sure to go click on it, check them out, see what they're all about. And just like that, he does it again. He's a good man, that Rick. Jordan Tensel still holding on to the lead, and the 4-car breakaway continues to straight line away from the rest of the field, as Wilcox in 5th spot, about 3 seconds behind. Actually make that 2.4 seconds behind 4th place Rusty Farrell in the 8th. But that 2 seconds is going to seem like a very long time here on this track, Rick, because it's so fast.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I was just going to say that if you didn't, and you hit the nail right on the head there, Chris. But man, look at that 10 car. Brad Lane, he's really catching up to the back bumper there, the 42. I think we might see a run here for second.
And just as they're saying that, the 42 spreads it out. Yeah, good run into the corner, and he just rolled that corner really, really well.
Really well.
The 42 very fast in the corner. Looks like he is giving up a little bit on the straightaways. To me, what that means, Rick, is the 10 backing off a little sooner in order to get back on the gas pedal a little quicker. And so he comes off from the corner with a little bit more momentum than the 42. But the 42 so far has been able to hold on to that second place run. And right now, Rick, I think he's driving out of his rearview mirror a little bit more than out of his windshield as the 63 of Jordan Tensel starts to pull away.
Yeah, I agree with that, Chris. He's definitely keeping, 1.5 eyes right now. Keep looking up in that rear view mirror, just see what the 10's doing. And that could be a dangerous thing there, too. I mean, the 63 right now just kind of pulling away.
Next time across the start-finish line, it's going to be 7 more laps before the first scheduled caution of the night. It'll be the 4th time the yellow flag has fallen. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming on out to the Turn 3 Racing Network to check out some live racing action here tonight. It's our pleasure to bring you the action, all 117 laps, right here from Homestead, Miami Speedway.
And look at the action right now for second place right now, Chris. Brad Lane working the inside of Snyder. Not able to complete it. I mean, he was so close.
That's a lot like we were seeing between Tensel and Snyder right there, Rick. Lane comes down on the inside and had a run, but wasn't able to complete it. Now he falls back just a little bit, as Jordan Tensel just starting to open that gap up almost a half a second between first and second right now.
And that's actually a pretty good gap, on a track like this. Tensel just putting on a clinic here for the first stage.
You can see on the racing surface, though, the track is starting to rubber in. You can start seeing that slight variance in color. And that slight variance in color is rubber going down on the track. And that's going to change this track up a little bit. That low side probably going to go away a little bit more. The high side going to come in. In real life, Rick, these guys would be up a little closer to the wall than they are now. About middle of the road right now as far as where you want to be. And the 42 does what the 42 does best. He hangs out at the wall, and that gives an opening to the 10. Brad Lane trying to make it happen. They go door to door through the corner, and you can see that 10 stall out about halfway through the corner, and that may allow the 42 to try and hold on to position. The 10 able to hold on, and he has still got a nose in, but can't hold it in the corner. A little wiggle out of the 10, and back into third spot he goes. Launching out of the vantage point of Rusty Farrell in 4th spot. You can see those 3 cars ahead of him, 1, 2, and 3. The 10, Brad Lane, has been looking hard here to try and find a way around Nick Snyder in the 42 just ahead of him. But so far, he's been able to get side by side, Rick, and not much more than that.
No, and you know who loves seeing that in his rear view? Tensel right now. Jordan's just like, yeah, you guys keep racing, and I'm just going to keep growing this lead here.
Here we go again. The 10 sneaking down to the inside. If he was up just a little bit more, he's going to put a little bit more pressure on the 42, Rick. He's going down a little too low, I think, and that's still allowing the 42 to hold on to that precious momentum on the outside. Although here we go, the 10 looks like he's actually maybe going for the pass, and he takes it. Wow, to the inside, strong move out of Brad Lane in the 10, and here comes the 42 of Nick Snyder trying to get it back. Right back to the inside he goes. And Rick, what if I was driving this, I'd stay up just a little bit, put the pressure on the 10.
Yep.
And 42 almost started doing that, then past the apex of the corner, drops down a little bit. If he would have stayed up, he would have been able to get into the throttle a little bit sooner and may have had a chance at the 10 of Brad Lane.
Now these guys up here definitely putting on one heck of a show, Chris.
Top 17 drivers still on the lead lap. Donald Johnson in his number 67, last car on the lead lap. Adam Monteoca, excuse me, Brandon Cutting and Alan Piazza, as we are on. Stage 1 is done, and Jordan Tensel takes that stage 1 winner. The 63 of Jordan Tensel, he led 44 laps of the 47 that made up that stage number 1.
What an outstanding stage.
Checking through all the radio channels we have, I don't see that we're going to be able to talk to the stage winner here tonight. It's unfortunate. We like to talk to the drivers. But we like to talk to you guys too out there in chat. So if you got a question or a comment, make sure to throw it up in chat. We do watch that, and we like to be we like the social distance here on YouTube. But we like the social part of that social distancing.
And that we do.
And here we go. Pit stops all around, Rick. We're going to go side by side action, bring up a commercial as we get ready to end this race.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What a
Racely to the inside goes loading club, and he's going to touch in. Hit press,
Look to the outside, and Crockett goes off. De Jong into second place.
going to switch back. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
trying to get contact though. Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Goes to Gary Lowe.
Gary Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the current bunker. That's not going to work, but he's going to
And we're back live, getting ready to go back under the green flag. A race to the finish is where we're going to be, Rick.
And I'm excited to see how that's going to end up, Chris. I mean, we had some really strong fighting up towards the front there. There's some guys that are kind of hungry down in the mid-pack. These guys have fresh tires, full tanks of Sunoco racing fuel, man. And that could also be a downside because right now they feel like Superman, but once that green flag drops, man, anything can happen.
Yeah, they're going to have to take one pit stop here before the end of this one. Not going to be enough fuel to make it to the end. So green flag pit stops may be in our future.
And those are always fun to watch too. There was already a good race coming off of pit road after that stage ended, Chris. The 63 to 1042. Very, very close.
Yeah, it was good battle coming off of pit road for sure. Brad Lane was able to beat out the 42 of Nick Snyder. Lance, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to talk to him. Not only were the cars taking pit stops, but so were the commentators. Pace car lights are off, getting ready to come down pit road. It does. Now it's just a matter of the green flag, and it's in the air. Back to green flag racing right here from Homestead, Miami Speedway. And in a very similar restart, the 42 behind the 63, the 10 to the outside. This happened earlier on in the race, and the 42 was able to take advantage on the short run. The 10 eventually did take second back over. And right now he's just trying to hold on. He does. He takes a nice, big, aggressive move to hold on to that second place. Takes the air off from the 42 and holds on. Does Brad Lane in the number 10, the 63 of Tensel, just absolutely dominating here so far tonight, Rick.
Oh, I mean, once that 63 gets in that nice clean air, Chris, and it's hard because I want to say the 88 because that's, that's the nationwide great ghost there. But once he's in that clean air and he just puts that car wherever he wants it, and it just does exactly what he wants it to do, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, a lot of fun out there. Steven Maddox in the 23. He was involved in an incident earlier on. Right now, he's running in 5th spot. Right behind him, Howard Windell. So Windell up to 6th. Michael Wilcox in the 86. Behind them, Brian Boyer in the 88. Running in 8th spot, Reggie Packard in the 29. Running in 9th position. Marty Ray just took over position from Eddie Morin. Puts Ray into the top 10, Rick.
I've been watching Ray, man. I mean, his car is pretty fast, too. It kind of screws up on my scoring because, like you said earlier, he is showing as a 65 on our timing scoreboard, but he's out there in that 12 PPG machine. I think the drivers definitely got the pre-race jitters out of their system. They're doing a good job. Everyone out there having a good time. Michael. As you said, Eddie Morin in 11th. You got Brian Boyer Jr. I know he's got some fans out there in that 7 machine. He's sitting in 12th. Billy Walters. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, he's sitting in 12th spot as Boyer Jr., but he's got some damage to the left rear and actually to the front of that car, too. Now that I get a little closer to it, that will affect that car. That is killing speed out of that car.
It really is. As you can see, the 20s, able to get up on there. Now, there's a couple back here. They definitely have some damage, Chris, but they're working it the best they can, not giving up, and that's exactly what you want to do. Checking in on Donald Johnson here in the 67 Mountain Dew Code Red machine. He's got some heavy damage on that thing. Eric Shear, same thing on that 22. Of course, he was involved earlier in one of the earlier cautions. I really like that paint scheme too, Chris. The yellow kind of looks like wings there. I like it. Andy Collins in the 27 Black Crown machine. He's out there running like a modified right now. That car is having no issues keeping cool.
Missing some parts.
I got those in the back of the hauler. We're bringing them home with us.
So the 63 of Jordan Tensel, Brad Lane, Nick Snyder, your top three. Right behind them, Russell Farrell, Steve Maddox, Michael Wilcox, Howard Wendell, Reggie Packard, and Brian Boyer. Really, your top 10, Marty Ray is there as well. Your top 10, nose to tail on this field. Speaking of nose to tail, here comes the 10. He is on the back bumper of Jordan Tensel.
He's definitely not happy. I mean, he worked hard to get into second position, Chris, and he's got his eyes on the prize right now. He's like, I just got to find one thing to do, and I just got to get around this number 63. And when we've seen it tonight, it's not going to be easy.
Nick Snyder, who is really in control of second spot here in the first part of the race, has settled into third, maybe trying to save a little bit of his equipment here for later on in the run, and that wouldn't be a bad move.
Michael Wilcox in the 86 Hooters machine, Chris. I want some chicken wings now. Go with that code red and the black crown. He's making some moves out there too. He's fighting, trying to get up there right now, sitting in 7th position. He's got the 12 of Howard Wendell on his inside. Wendell's going to take that position back. These guys, they're beating and banging, trying to get around. They're not really beating and banging, but they're beating and banging their machines, that's for sure.
Beating and banging the throttle pedal to the floor, Rick, as these guys are not holding back at all, trying to get every inch of track they can. And look at that, top 10 drivers fit in one TV shot. This is pretty cool.
This is cool.
The 86 of Wilcox is trying to figure out a way around the 12 of Howard Wendell. Just can't seem to put a line together here for himself. And the 12 starting to pull away, and Wendell starting to look at the back bumper of the 23 of Maddox. Some very different driving styles here, Rick. You're seeing cars pull in closer at the beginning of a corner, pulling away at the end of a corner. And that really depends on where you're getting in and out of the throttle here, especially in Miami. It's really important to be throttle conscious.
Yeah, I mean, the track is big. There's some banking there in the corners, Chris, that kind of gives you the false pretense that you can just go at this thing at full throttle, but you're really playing with that throttle just a little bit just to get around there, set the car up where you want it. And you're absolutely right. I mean, there's so many different guys, the way that they're driving here, and it's putting on some good racing right now.
Here comes the 86 of Wilcox trying to get to the inside of Wendell. Does have a good clean line on the inside. Will he be able to hold on to it? I don't think so. Wendell with the momentum able to pull back out. As we check out the gyro cam, we're looking at that banking Rick was talking about. And the 86 pushing hard, trying to get that position away. And right now does have it. Michael Wilcox up to 6th spot, looking on the outside of the top 5. And look at the separation, Rick, between the front 5 and the back 5 here in the top 10. As these guys are racing, top 5 starting to pull away. And the 12 of Wendell trying to get that spot back from Wilcox. And I don't know, man, you're running side by side, you're losing time to the leaders.
That's the big thing. I mean, Chris, you know, the top 5, they're kind of sitting there going, okay, yeah, you guys keep racing it out because we're just going to be going.
And look at the gap now between 5th spot and 6th spot. Steven Maddox in 5th spot in his number 23, the blue and red machine, gapping Michael Wilcox in his 86. Rusty Farrell in the 8 car, running in 4th spot. Nick Snyder in the 42, and he may just be letting it run here, Rick, a little bit. He's not pushing very hard. We know he's fast. He was on the back bumper of Jordan Tensel throughout most of the first stage. However, this portion of the race, it's been Brad Lane all over the back bumper of that 63, and the 63 just cruising along, holding his line. He's kind of doing exactly what he was doing to Snyder in the first stage, Rick. He's holding his line so well, it's tough to pass him.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he found the key to this track, Chris. I mean, if he can hold that lane, it's going to be very hard for anybody to pass on the inside, and even harder for somebody to try to make a run on the outside. So he's doing everything right, and it's just falling into his hands right now tonight.
Jordan Tensel leads another lap. Make it 67 on the race so far here tonight. As they're working turns 1 and 2. Nick Snyder's falling back just a little bit, about a half a second away from second place Brad Lane. Steven Maddox sitting in 5th spot. Just trying to hold on. That damage to the right front does affect that car. Got a little bit of a sail going on there. And if he's this fast with that, Rick, can you imagine how he'd be if that car was straight?
No, I mean, it would be amazing. You know, one thing that I'm kind of sad about, Chris, I mean, this is where NASCAR used to end out their championship season. It's going to be a little strange this year, you know, ending it up in Phoenix. I mean, because I really do like this track, and not saying that I don't, you know, enjoy the racing at Phoenix. It's not one of my favorite tracks. I mean, the banking here is just so, in my eyes, when I drive it, it feels good. And it's kind of weird because it's a progressive banking. It starts out 18 and goes to 20, then back through, and I don't know. I'm glad this is the second time this week that we've been at this track, though. I'm happy about that.
That's true. Yeah, we're starting to get to know the track pretty darn well. You know who else knows this track pretty darn well?
I'm thinking that you're going to, yeah, I was going to say, I think you're thinking of the 63. I think he might have designed this track. Maybe he works for iRacing. We don't know it. He scanned it. He's got the line down, Chris. I mean, we've been talking about that, and he just holds that line, and it's just so tough. I mean, we are seeing the rubber down on the track now. We got about 45 laps left to go. I don't know, man. He's holding it so perfect as he heads into 3. There's just no room to pass there. That outside lane not rubbered in enough to get these cars to really do anything. I mean, like you said, when you watch this stuff in the real world, those guys are glued to that outside wall. But here at iRacing, especially with it, I mean, the track temperature has cooled off a little bit. And when I say cooled off a little bit, it's still 117 degrees, so it's still very warm.
Eddie Morin off track in his number 56 and holding steady. He has not moved. He is off track. Don't know why. Like he pulled over and I don't know. Now he's getting to go. Caution flag is out. And I got to believe it's for that car right there. And Rick, I think he's having trouble with the controls as he backed up and then bam, right into the wall. Like he has no steering input whatsoever.
Exactly. As I say, I had to go back a little further. I see that he was down in the pit. Maybe doing a little bit of pit strategy. Now, there's a few things. I mean, we haven't raced these. I don't know if you have. I haven't raced these cars in, well, I haven't raced the new ones at all. But he came down pit road and he just shot into the, this would be the inside wall of pit road, and he was kind of stuck there. and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, pit stops coming one more time, this time with 43 laps to go, and this should be the last pit stop that's needed. And a battle off on pit road could be a determining factor here towards the end of the race, Rick.
That's what I'm kind of watching for right now.
Right side tires are up. Swinging on over to the left side. Left side goes up for tires. And good pit stops out of all of them. Looks like only one driver to stay out, and that is Eric Shearer. Last time on pit road, 27 laps ago. You got to believe he's just staying out, Rick, to lead a lap, and then he'll come down onto pit road. He won't be able to make the distance, and the car looks like it could use a little bit of a buff job.
I know a guy for that.
Yeah, I might know a guy.
Ansel Land really had, both of those guys had great pit stops, Chris. They came out basically at the same time. Those jacks dropped down right at the same time, and they both hit that go button. The real winner there, Rusty Farrell in that number 8 machine. The Tracker Boats Bass Pro Shops. Comes out of that thing in 4th right now.
Yeah, Shearer on pit road, so that's going to cycle through. It's going to put Rusty Farrell up to 3rd spot. Nick Snyder comes out a little slow on pit road and is back to 4th. Steven Maddox in the 23 going to be restarting in 5th. Brian Boyer in the 88 6th. Marty Ray 7th. Michael Wilcox, Reggie Packard, and Howard Windell to round out the top 10. Shearer did stay out to lead a lap. In fact, he's led 2 here tonight. Trying to secure those points. But I gotta be honest with you, Jordan Tensel has led 72 laps so far tonight. He has definitely been the man.
And, you know, it would probably be funny because if we talk to him, we know another driver in another league that's like this. He'd probably be like, "Yeah, I hate this track." He's got to figure it out. I can tell you right now, he's got to figure it out. So either a lot of practice time or one of his favorite tracks. It's got to be one of those because he's hitting his mark so perfectly, Chris. And that's hard to do. I mean, I know these races, you know, this race, not super long, but to hit it consistently, lap after lap, that just amazes me.
Yeah,
I mean, that tells you right there a lot of seat time.
A lot of seat time, a lot of focus.
And usually by this stage of the race, no matter where I am, I'm fiddling around with music and, you know, checking out my text messages, Facebook, Twitter, making sure Dale Jr.'s not calling me.
Well, here we go again, Rick. Cars are lining up 2 by 2, getting ready to go back to the green flag. So far tonight, on the cautions, we've had 5 of them for 15 laps, 6 different lead changes amongst 4 different drivers. And remember, one of those cautions was for the end of stage number 1. Now we're racing to the end. Drivers are going into turn number 3 with the pace car lights off. So it's not going to be long now, Rick, before we go back to the green flag. And with 39 laps to go, when we retake that green, it's going to be start thinking about who's really going to win. Who's been holding back? Has anybody been holding back?
Well, that's kind of what's in the back of my mind.
Green flag is out. Loud buttons are pushed, and here we go. The 42 with an aggressive move from the outside of the second row to take over 3rd spot away from Rusty Farrell. Farrell back to 4th. Behind them, it's the 88 of Brian Boyer and Steven Maddox battling it out for position. The 23 has the inside line. That's Maddox. The 88 of Brian Boyer trying to make the outside work. Behind them, it's 2 by 2 for 7th and 8th. Nick Snyder, Rusty Farrell battling it out once again for third spot. Nick Snyder on the outside, the 8 of Farrell to the inside, and Farrell looks like he's got a good run off the corner. If he can hold right here going into the corner, he may have something, but the 42 stays on the throttle just a little bit longer than I think he's normally doing, and that keeps him side by side across the start-finish line.
I mean, the good news is, Chris, I've seen that outside lane starting to really rubber in. And the 42 of Snyder, he was able to hang those left side tires right at the edge of that thing and really kept a lot of momentum going.
Track temperature 9 degrees cooler now, Rick, than when we first started here tonight. It's down to 115. If you can believe it, it's 9 degrees cooler than it was. But even that 9 degrees is going to help these guys out just a little bit. Make them tighten up just a little bit, maybe not be as loose as they were towards the beginning of the race. And we've got two separate battles here in the top 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, battling it out. And the 8 of Farrell looking to the inside, and he gets cut off by Nick Snyder in the 42. The 10 holding steady behind Jordan Tensel. The 42 on the inside has a rocket ship off from that corner, and he holds on to the third place run right now. Lap number 83 out of 117, 35 laps to go.
I'm just looking at Tensel right now, Chris. He hangs down just a little bit more towards the bottom as he goes through the corner, and he's really just, I mean, he's got this track figured out. The 10 up just a little bit. I mean, I'm not talking a lot either, just a little bit. I think right now Lane might be trying to figure out what Tensel's been doing all night.
Lane's going to have to pick a lane, Rick, because Tensel is kind of just going wherever he wants. Nobody's really interrupted his run at all in this race. He's been able to go wherever he wants. And when you can do that and you have such a good line picked out, it's lights out for the rest of the field.
Oh yeah, he's in full control of this field right now, that's for sure. I mean, Lane can try to go out into the outside, Chris, but I don't think that'd be smart, especially with Snyder right there. And he's aching to take that second position away.
And Snyder is definitely running a little bit more aggressive now. About how many laps we are into this run? Nine laps into this run. And the 42 looks like he might be starting to come to life as he's starting to roll the corners like he was earlier on in this race.
Well, it looks like to me he was a graduate of the Lagoo School of How to Race. But this is what you always tell me. You know, I always try to run too hard in the beginning and the middle, and you're like, man, just settle, especially in super speedways. And that's what I love about racing with you, man. We got to do it again. But you know, you always keep me calm. And you're like, okay, now we got about 30-some laps left to go. And now it's go time, man.
It's hard to race a car if it's destroyed.
That's true. That's one thing I love about iRacing. You just get out and do the next one.
That's true. And it's free.
Exactly. Oh man, what a strong field out here tonight, Chris. This has been a fabulous race, man.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to see these cars going around, and really right now it's kind of the top 10, top 11 cars that are feeling real good right now. A lot of cars got some damage out there and they're making their laps, which I would never fault anybody for. Every point matters of every race series. So those guys doing exactly what they need to do. And all of a sudden, it looks like we might have some overcast. This track temperature may start to fall a little bit more.
That's going to get real interesting. I mean, if folks out there in YouTube, Turn 3 Racing Network land don't know, you know, track temperature comes into a huge play on the way that the cars handle, how those tires react. You get something that's really, you know, if you start out with a cool racetrack, it gets a little warmer, you know, you're going to get loose like Chris was talking about. You're going to slip and slide a little bit more, but when it's really hot and it starts cooling off, you start tightening up a little bit, and that's where things can get real interesting.
It really falls into different styles of driving. And some people can make the transition over nicely. Some people have a hard time with it.
Like me. I ain't gonna lie. I can tell you right now, there's one guy that has no problem with it though, Chris. It's that 63 machine up front.
Yeah, Tensel, he has been strong all night long. He's led 84 laps, make it 85 when he crosses the line. And the guy just can't seem to do any wrong with 28 laps now to go. Tensel, Lane, and Snyder starting to break away from the rest of the field. It's going to be a 3-car shootout towards the end of this one, I got a feeling.
Snyder getting a little racy. He's starting to peek on the inside there of Lane. Not able to do anything with it though.
Not able to do anything at this point, Rick, but I don't know that was his intention. I think he's poking around, seeing what the reaction of the 10's going to be. You know, could be smart racing going on there. Just poke, and see if you can make a mistake happen for the driver in front of you.
That's what it comes down to. But man, I don't know. These guys have been racing around each other all night long.
Put an area rug over the top 3 because they're racing that close to each other. 0.2 of a second separating first and third, as it tightens up just a little bit there for a moment.
And it's getting smaller.
Brad Lane is getting very aggressive on that back bumper of Tensel, and Tensel is going to have to be wary. The 10 may have more than he's shown all night long, although he's shown quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's something I learned, Chris. You don't show everything until the final moments when it's going to count. You always got to keep something in the back pocket for a rainy day.
25 laps to go as we're entering turns 1 and 2, getting ready for the backstretch. And the 42 keeps peeking out, but he's starting to lose a little time now to Brad Lane and Jordan Tensel. Did he lose the draft, Rick? If he did, it's going to be awful tough for him to get back up there. He needs Lane to peek out, break the air up a little bit. That would catch him up. I think Lane may know that. He's trying to stay to the back bumper of Tensel right now. Yeah, the 42 is having terrible difficulties trying to keep up with these guys right now as they're running nose to tail. But, you know, Brad Lane, he's been doing a good job, and he is right on the back bumper, and I think he's even able to get up closer. He may be falling back just a little bit, almost on purpose, to see if he can get a run, Rick. As the 63 heading into the corner, he's got the 10 and the 42 within shot. One more lap completed. Lap number 96 has begun. 22 laps to go. Jordan Tensel with the race lead. Brad Lane, good run off from the corner at the start finish line, bumper to bumper, 1 and 2. Brad Lane just keeps poking and poking to try and find some sort of weakness out of the 63, and so far has not been able to do it. Nick Snyder may be starting to fade. I thought he was saving something, but he may have used it up just trying to get to the back bumper of Lane in the 10.
I really think that Lane is actually holding something in the back pocket, Chris. I really do.
Well, if he is, it's going to be time to use it here pretty soon with 20 to go on the backstretch. 19 when they cross the start-finish line. This guy's just holding steady. Trying to put a little bit more gap in between themselves and third place runner Nick Snyder, Rusty Farrell, Steven Maddox, the top 5. Again, I want to thank Red Button Box for sponsoring tonight's event. Red Button Box providing all the aerial coverage for tonight's race. Make sure to check that link out. Rick has put that out in chat.
I got to check them out the other day. They make some pretty cool stuff over there.
Enzo still has that strong lead over Lane. The 42 of Nick Snyder is starting to catch the back bumper again of Brad Lane. So Snyder may have been holding some in reserve, knowing now with 17 laps to go after they cross the start-finish line that it's going to be time to go here pretty quick. He's got to pass not one but two drivers to try and get to the race lead. And I'll tell you, Jordan Tensel and Brad Lane, two drivers I wouldn't want to try and pass right now. They've been strong all night long.
They have. I mean, it took Lane a little bit to get up there and get his way around Snyder, but once he was able to do that, I mean, those two have been battling it out back and forth, but right now Lane is that man to try to beat. But Lane's also got one other guy to beat, and I don't know if it's going to happen. I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to be, I mean, this is where I'd have a problem, because I'd be like, okay, I really want to go. I really want to try to make some moves, but yeah, it's still a little early.
Yeah, you got to remember it's a mile and a half long track. Before about 10 to go, I don't know that you really want to show your hand, but 10 to go, you should be able to turn it on and throw it down. Now, that fresh air up front that Jordan Tensel has been taking advantage of for what is now 98 laps is definitely his best friend. The 10's got to work around him and that fresh air, and that is a tough thing to do. We're going to find out if Brad Lane's able to do it. 15 laps to go. It's almost go time for Lane. Crossing the start-finish line one more time. It's Jordan Tensel leading yet another lap here tonight, Rick. And if he ends up winning this one, I mean, what a dominant performance it's been. He's going to have 100-plus laps led here tonight.
I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, it's kind of tough to pass on this track in iRacing, that's for sure. But these guys have been getting it done. So it's not impossible, but one thing that we've seen is it's pretty impossible to pass that 63.
Yeah, that's true. The only time he's been passed really is, well, one time under the green flag, Nick Snyder was able to sneak by him. Other than that, it's been only under cautions where somebody stays out to lead a lap. It's impressive. You know, only 4 laps of this race he hasn't led. Very, very impressive.
Very impressive.
Couple more laps and flagman will be outstretched 2 handfuls of finger, indicating 10 laps to go. Just 2 laps from now. They got a lap and a half. These guys are screaming. Race pace has not slowed down all that much. Jordan Tensel's best lap time, Rick, a 32:048. His last time by, a 33:447. So just about a second loss, but I'll tell you, these guys are so darn close to each other throughout the entire field. Really impressive racing here.
It's just amazing on what these guys are doing right now. I just see Lane starting to peek around just a little bit, trying to figure out what's going on.
A battle for third spot right now. Rusty Farrell and Nick Snyder. Oh, excuse me. That's a lap down vehicle. That's the 20. Tabasco sauce, number 20 of Billy Walters. Walters being shown 1 lap down.
I don't know if you know this or not, Chris, but I like spicy stuff.
I know a guy. So 6 laps ago, the 20 car was
like,
on.
Here, you can pass on the outside.
Yeah. With fresh tires, you can do anything you want to. Oh, look at this. The 10 may be hooking up with him. Oh, if he can grab the draft, the 20 goes a little too high for the 10's liking, so doesn't do it. But look at fresh tires compared to the tires that the leaders are running right now. The 20 able to get his lap back the hard way. Gets himself back on the lead lap. Well, I thought he was going to get himself back on. He must have been 2 laps down. I must have misread that. Still showing 1 lap down, but man, he is moving. But will not be a factor in the race as far as the win goes. Billy Walters being scored in 16th spot right now. The 63, Jordan Tensel holding on strong, and the 10 is starting to peak, Rick. He is getting a little antsy knowing that it's coming down to the end here. And he had a good run, had to let off the throttle because he was going to get into the back of the 63. Did the right thing, got off the throttle, but lost a little bit of time on track. Puts a gap of about a car in between them at one point. And now the 10's got to fight back one more time.
It's hard because both drivers have 34 laps on their tires, Chris, so the tires aren't really going to come into play. They're pretty even.
Well, they're pretty even as far as the tires go, like you said, Rick, but the tires right now are junk.
Yeah, they are.
Between that and the fact that the fuel cells are starting to get a little bit on the low side, these cars are going to be handling a lot different here with the last 6 laps to go once they cross the start-finish line.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen much change of that 63.
No, I think you could put 1 tire on that car and it would be just fine, to be honest with you.
He's on rails tonight, that's for sure.
6 laps to go, 107 laps led for Jordan Tensel in the 63.
I got to go in the cockpit view because I just want to see if he's fighting that thing at all.
And we drop down.
Not.
Yeah, he's not really fighting it, but I'll tell you what he is doing. He's letting off a lot sooner than he was, getting on a little later than he was, and he is throttling up a little slower than he was earlier in the race. All these things to try and keep that car square underneath him without it slipping out. But man, is he doing a fantastic job. Holy cow.
So smooth on that wheel.
Big thing right here, Rick. You're not hearing any noise out of the tires. He is not beating those tires up at all. Running just an absolutely beautiful lane. And man, what a good job. Speaking of Lane running in 2nd spot. Brad Lane in that number 10. It's his job to try and figure out a way around the 63. He's got 4 laps to figure it out, Rick, before we get to the end of this one. Jordan Tensel in the 63. He's led 109 laps, trying to make it 113 here tonight.
You know, not to slam Dale Jr. or anything, because, you know, we did some racing together back in the day, but, you know, I think you should have called Tensel and said, hey, how do I drive this thing around?
Yeah, this has been an incredibly good run out of him. Three laps to go.
I mean, I think there's a lot of NASCAR drivers that are probably, you know, might check us out later on the Turn 3 Racing Network and You know, they might have to give these guys a couple of calls to find out how to get around this track. Because, well, I don't really want to say it, but
Yeah, they had a bit of a tough time there on Sunday. Next time by will be the red button box, 1 to go. And Jordan Tensel is getting it done. Brad Lane has not figured out a way to get around as we get that 1 to go.
I think they need like a song, man, because when you say that, it makes me want to sing.
Down the back stretch goes the 63, getting ready to go into turn number 3. Our favorite turn of any track here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Coming out of turn number 4, the 20 moves up to get out of the way. And it's not going to matter because the 63 has had a head of steam all race long. He crosses the start-finish line. Your race winner, Jordan Tensel. Brad Lane in second. And Nick Snyder brings his 42 home in third spot.
Wow, what a finish.
Absolute dominance out of that 63 machine. 113 laps led here tonight for an incredible, incredible race. Let's go on through the race results here, Rick. First place tonight, Jordan Tensel. Second, Brad Lane. Nick Snyder in third. Rusty Farrell comes home in fourth position tonight in his number 8 car. Stephen Maddox in fifth. Reggie Packard, Michael Wilcox, and Brian Boyer, your top 8. 9th through 12th, it's going to be Marty Ray, Eric Shear, Donald Johnson, and Howard Windell. 13th through 16th, it's Brian Boyer Jr. in the 7 car in 13th. Randy Collins, Adam Mondioka in 15th. Billy Walters in 16th position. Brandon Cutting takes 17th. Eddie Moore and Alan Piazza and Chris Gilbert, your top 20. 21st through 24th, Ten Reichick, Michael Arrow Jr., Bruce Boyer, and Seth Gary. And that is how the field ended up. We watched Jordan Tensel just burn the house down in that 63. You know he's a happy driver.
I mean, he already ran most of the tires away, so why not just burn them off the rest of the way? I'd be doing the same thing.
Oh, absolutely. Unfortunately, top 3 drivers not in chat right now. So we're gonna bring Eric Shearer down because he's the one that invited us out. Eric Shearer, this is Chris and Rick up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Well, doing good, bud. It was a good, fun race to watch, man. And Jordan Tensel, my goodness, 113 laps led. What a ride out of him. Earlier on in the race, though, you were involved in a little bit of an incident in your number 22 and kind of took a couple of shots there. Overall, how was the car feeling before that happened?
I was feeling pretty good. I felt like I had a lot of long run speed. I was able to kind of keep pace with the car, not let the tires wear out too quickly. That's kind of what I think that accident was about. I was just kind of letting off earlier than a lot of other people were, and in the corner there and got rear-ended. So, but overall, I had a good car, and by the end of the race there, I got most of my damage fixed, so I was actually able to salvage top 10. So overall, it was a good recovery for sure.
Anytime you can come home in the top 10, you're doing a good job. And that's important and points to long season to go for you guys.
Yeah, we're just getting going. We're running about a 20-week regular season, and then we got the playoffs at the end of the year we're running. So every point counts, even this early in the year.
It was a lot of fun to watch, Eric. Thank you for coming down to talk to us and inviting us over to go ahead and call this race. And this is going to be one of 5 different races, or 5 more races that we're going to be doing here for you guys between both of your series.
Yep. We got 2 more for this series and then 3 on the B series side. I have to check what our next one is, but yeah, you guys did a couple races for us in the past, and we're excited to have you guys back for this year.
Yeah, we're excited to be here, bud. Thank you once again, and good luck for the rest of the season. We'll catch you next time.
Yep, appreciate it.
All right, Eric Shearer in the 22. Hey, Bill salvage a 10th place finish. Not bad. Oh, Brad Lane is actually in here. Brad Lane, Chris and Rick up in the booth. This is, you got a copy, bud?
Yeah, guys, I do.
Doing good, bud. Hey, listen, man, a 2nd place finish. And I'll tell you, did everything that you possibly could, but that's 63. He was tough tonight.
Oh, yeah, Jordan is always tough. I had halfway through some of those runs, I had some runs off the corner that I could have took on him, but I know if I get inside of him, he's just going to pin me down to the bottom, and I'm not going to get that run off the exit. So there was some runs I had on him, but I was trying to kind of buy my time, and it just got too tight at the end.
Yeah, that was unbelievable run for you, bud, and a 2nd place finish. Great for the points. Anybody on that 10 car you need to thank?
Yeah, my employer for letting me pay for this stuff so I could get on here and enjoy it.
There you go. Sometimes that's the guy you got to thank. I dig it. Hey, Brad, we'll catch you next time, bud. Congratulations on that 2nd place finish.
Thanks, guys. No, and all jokes aside, thanks for putting this together, and big thanks to Eric. He kind of manages and runs this league. So, I mean, all jokes aside, I'd like to thank him for putting this together.
Yeah, absolutely, and we thank him too, and we thank all the drivers here and for inviting us over. That was Brad Lane, the driver of the number 10, bringing it home in 2nd place tonight. And what a ride, man! These guys did a great job. A little rough to start, not gonna lie, but man, they pulled it out and had a hell of a good race all together. All but one driver started the race, and it looks like, well, I'm not even going to bother telling you how many finished it, but quite a few of them. Most of them finished it here tonight, Rick, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, and actually, Jordan Tensel just jumped in the team speak, but
oh, hey, let's grab him. Jordan Tensel, you won tonight's race in convincing fashion. 113 laps led here tonight, man. What a ride.
Yeah, it was a good one. Man, I'm surprised actually the car didn't tighten up as what I thought it was. And then talking to Brad and Nick, just going over what our tires were on pit stops, and somehow I was saving tires on long runs, but Brad sure did keep me honest there at the end there. So, I mean, I was actually kind of worried, like, if he was able to get on the outside of me, he probably would have had me, because it's so hard to pass on the bottom here versus if you run that track at night, you can kind of get away with both crews. But it's a good race.
It was a lot of fun, man. Like I said, 113 laps you led here tonight. The only time you didn't lead, let's see, one time Nick Snyder was able to get past you during the green flag, and everything else was happening during caution. That's a hell of a performance. Is this one of your favorite tracks, or are you just this good all the time?
I'd say probably this is one of my favorite ones. I'm normally pretty good here. We just ran a race on Thursday night in the B car, and I won that one, and I won the Cup Series race last year if in the A car and the B Series race there last year. So normally I'm pretty good here, and I'm kind of like so like around all the other tracks. It just kind of depends. I have my good days and bad days, and tonight was one of those really good days.
It sure was, bud. Anybody on the 63 car that you need to thank here tonight?
Just Nationwide and Mountain Dew and Exalta, and that's about it, really.
All right, Jordan. Hey, listen, man, congratulations once again on that race win, and keep it up, man. It's going to be a fun season for you, it looks like.
Yeah, thank you. I hope it's a good one. We'll have to wait and see how this package plays out with this new tire model.
Absolutely. Jordan Tensel, driver of the number 63, bringing it home in first place tonight. And again, congratulations to him and all the runners out there. It was a lot of fun, Rick, and I can't wait to do it again. And actually, we get to do it again tomorrow night right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, bringing you some short track action from Racing for a Cause.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We got that all set up, ready to go. We were off last week by a little emergency over there, but everything is good, and we'll be back on Wednesday night.
And again, in all seriousness, guys, take care of yourselves with this coronavirus. Make sure you take care of yourselves and each other. We have only ourselves to depend on at this point. And again, we thank you guys for coming out tonight here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We're going to see you next time.